All right, shalom, shalom, shalom. All praises to the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, which is to say in the Paleo Hebrew, Yahweh, which is the name of our Heavenly Father, meaning He is, Bahashem, meaning in the name, Yahweh Shai, meaning He is our salvation. And that is who the world ignorantly calls Jesus a so-called black man, who, by the way, only came for the Israelites, which brings us to our topic, our discussion of today, which is this family of Edomites here, okay? Now here you have the mother that goes by the name of Lisa, and then you have the father that goes by the name of John, and then you have their little, child, we're going to call him Timmy, all right? Now the police were called out to this individual or these individuals' residence to check up on a warrant that they had obtained from the judge that very same morning due to some illicit sexual misdevious acts and deeds, and upon checking up on this warrant, this woman here, this Edomite, confessed to the police that she had been watching tapes on what they would call bestiality, all right? And she had been watching so much that she decided to try it out. And then upon trying it out, she found out that she liked it, okay? And her husband, would enjoy watching it with her, to the point that she, or should I say he, allowed his Shedamite wife to do it with their dog, okay? And then the dog became, this is not, you cannot make this up. We're gonna play this, man. See, this is why the Bible is so important, the whole Bible. Because you have these pastors, these so-called pastors and preachers that tell you that the law is done away with. All we need to do is keep the 10 Commandments. Well, guess what? This part of the law right here isn't in the 10 Commandments per se, okay? The preacher wouldn't teach you about this, all right? But this is an abomination, and we're going to get the judgment for it, all right? So back to the point of the husband allowing the wife to do it with their golden retriever, to the point that the golden retriever became territory and the husband couldn't watch it anymore, and he had to watch it behind the door, okay? And their only punishment was that they got arrested and the dogs were removed and any other animal were removed from off their property until further notice. Well, guess what? According to the law, it's totally different, man, okay? See, and this is why this place, Babylon the Great, and its ruling, ship, the Edomites, must be taken out, man, because they allow this type of shit like this right here to go on under the cuspice of Christianity, okay? See, when the real Christians or when the real Israelites are back into authority and rulership, this ain't going to be happening. And if it do, they're going to be a strict judgment according to the law, all right? And we're going to get it. So we're going to let this clip play for as long as possible, and then we're going to jump into the precepts, man, because this is why the Bible is completely relevant. The totality of the Bible, the whole Bible, not just parts you want to pick and choose, all right? So let's listen to the police engage with this Edomite family, all right? Check this out.
Area just so I can set him down and he can play. Okay. Perfect. So let me just coordinate with them and I'll be right back. And when can I see my husband? In a minute. Okay. We'll talk to you guys. Okay. And just for the record, this warrant was served at 7:47 a.m., okay? All right. Okay. All right, I'll be right back. And you'll get a copy of this. You want it now? I'll let you come down. I'll be back. It's ready and served. She started crying, so she didn't want me to finish it. I'm like, we're looking for electronics.
You told her she's gonna have the copy of it.
Yeah, I said this is gonna be your copy, and I told her that the judge who authored the search when I showed her the day and time.
Okay. The only other thing we're gonna try is we want to have her come in and get the dog. There's one little section we couldn't clear.
Okay.
So if we can have her either leave little guy or
she said
she can keep it with her. That's fine.
I have her come
we just want to put him on a leash or let's just find. I'll go with you. Let's just see if we can find a spot. 137.
Yeah, too late. I don't know how many times I had stepped on everything.
Ma'am, is there anywhere we can put the dogs besides that space while we're here, or are they allowed outside?
I can let them out over here, and then they'll be trapped in there, and nobody else
will that be okay with you?
Yes.
It'll just help us.
I just
speed
prefer
things up.
me.
No, we would prefer you to do it as well.
I just don't know how they would react to
Okay.
anybody else.
Are you able to help do that right now? Okay.
I sure am. When we go in, is there a way I can just get a sip of water before we do that?
For sure.
So as you can see, the news hit Samantha like a ton of bricks. But remember, I did say not too long ago that the abuse material charges were eventually tied to her husband, John. So how did she get caught up in this case? Well, that's because of what she went on to tell detectives while they were searching through the property. At some point during the search, Samantha pulled lead detectives Sinchi and Barcelli to one side and stated she had to tell them something. And what was that, ladies and gentlemen? It was information on how she was fascinated by male horse genitalia, had watched multiple videos of horses doing the business, and female humans interacting with horses in the same way. Not only that, but also she had looked online for other animal sexual-related videos to see what piqued her interest. Dogs were noted as an animal she was infatuated with. In response to the information the detectives had just acquired, they asked if she ever made any videos with any animals or any of her 4 dogs that she owned. And it was at that point she told them before she continued she wanted Detective Barcelli removed because he was male. She didn't feel comfortable. They accepted the request, he left, and it was then she confessed to having sexual intercourse with her brown Labrador, with the last occurrence being roughly 1 month before the search in January of 2024. Speaking of the first encounter, Samantha explained that her husband John was present, but during the incident the dog became territorial and aggressive, so John left. Moving forward, it was reported that he would watch the pair from behind a door. Look, in a nutshell, Samantha explained that her curiosity got the better of her, and she didn't actually have a attraction to animals. But Detective Sinchi wasn't buying it. After all, this wasn't a one-off, it happened multiple times. When pressed further, Samantha explained that when she drank, she wanted to have sex, but John was often tired, so she done it with the dog instead because he was giving her the attention that she craved. Shortly after the statement,
I mean, do you hear this? This was all in the police report. She would get drunk, try to want to do it with her husband. Her husband would, shoo her off, so she would do it with the dog, man. All right? This shit is why Babylon the Great has to be destroyed, man. We're gonna get it all in precepts, man. But this type of shit goes on, all right? This is the type of shit that go on in these damn Edomite households, man. And then you want to go and sleep with one of these damn women, especially they got dogs that sleep in the house with them, and you think they're not doing anything with the dogs? Come on, man.
Was given, John decided to present himself to law enforcement. He had been hiding in the house. By that point, police had found a mobile phone that had been disposed in a toilet bowl. They knew it was his, so asked him if he had intentionally put it in there in an attempt to destroy evidence. He ultimately denied knowing how it got in there. Yeah, sure thing, buddy. Detectives told him a bit of water damage wasn't going to stop them from gaining access to the information that was stored on the phone. So it was for the best that he told them if there was anything on there. That and the fact that Samantha had told them about her relations with the dog, John had no other choice but to confess to his role in that part of the case. He essentially said the same thing as Samantha, but did tell detectives that the intercourse went as far back as 2023. The pair would be arrested in connection with this part of the investigation, and they were taken into custody for further questioning. But information surrounding that questioning, just like the child material part of the case hasn't been made public just yet. That's more than likely because John hasn't pled guilty or gone on trial for his charges, which include several offences such as filming a person and an animal engaged in sexual activity, 2 counts of sexual activity involving an animal, and 6 counts of possession of child sexual abuse material. I suspect most of the information will be suppressed until that part of the case has been wrapped up. Samantha was eventually charged with various counts of engaging in sexual activity with an animal. Earlier this month, in April of 2025, for those of you watching in the future, she pleaded guilty to those charges and was sentenced to 3 years in prison, followed by 3 years of probation. Her animals have been removed from her care. Of course, she's now in jail, and she's been ordered not to own any animals or live with any animals while on probation. It isn't clear if she has a lifetime ban though. For those of you wondering what happened to their child,
so for her actions, all she got was 3 years. I'm not sure if it was probation, and her animals to be taken away from her, and for her not to own any animals. Okay, so this is the result of here in America. All right, where sin is what rewarded. Okay, because the damn dog is still here, and the woman and the man is still here, all right? And they have the ability, the judge is probably going to lift that ban that they can't own animals if they do community service or something like that, if they be released, because the original warrant was served on some type of, children pedo type of material that they was said to have owned in the house, okay? But upon that, this woman revealed, because they was going to check all the internet and the computer information anyways, that she had been watching material with animals, horses, okay, to the point that she got intrigued by it and wanted to try it out on her golden retriever, all right? So this is why this damn place has to be destroyed, man. And this is why the law, the Bible in its totality is important, okay? Because just imagine, if Christianity was really, truly the Christianity that these so-called Edomites confess and profess to, this shit would be allowed to go on, man. All type of confusion, okay?
we don't exactly know. However, what I will say is that when parents are involved in criminal cases, especially these types of ones, agencies...
This is the book of Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 6. It reads, "For thou art an holy people." This is speaking to the Israelites, so-called blacks, Latinos, Native Americans. "Unto Yahweh thy power. For Yahweh thy power have chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth." See? So Yahweh have chosen the Israelites to be a special people above all people upon the face of the earth. And in doing so, he has given them the laws, statutes, and commandments, along with the judgments, okay? And we're going to get into part of that in this lesson, all right? Because as you see, the current subjects that are ruling this earth are truly indeed wicked, man. To allow something like this to go on and not be dealt with accordingly is allowing sin to continue to manifest in the world, the earth, all right? What is sin? 1 John 3 and 4. For sin is the transgression against the law. This is 1 John 3 and 4. It reads, "Whosoever committeth sin transgresseth also the law, for sin is the transgression of the law." All right? And if you just go by the 10 commandments, you're not going to get the full scope of the whole law. That's why you have to go into the word, all right? See? But under this so-called Christianity, all you got to do is strive to keep the 10 commandments, okay? Not understanding that those 10 commandments go into the whole law, all right? So back to Deuteronomy 7 and 6, it says, for thou art a holy people. Holy goes into the word separate. All right. We were the only ones that was given the law, statute, commandments to uphold. All right. See, all these other nations, they weren't given this. That's why you're not going to find a judgment for this type of behavior in the Quran or in the Book of the Dead or in any other religion. Because they what? They allow this type of shit. All right. By not addressing it. Okay. A slap on the wrist isn't going to get it done, man. You have to put that spirit, you have to put those spirits down, okay? The spirit of the woman, the spirit of the man, and the spirit of the beast, okay? So it says, Deuteronomy 7:6, for thou art an holy people unto Yahweh thy power. It says that, Lord, Yahweh thy power, have chosen thee to be a special people unto himself, above all people that are upon the face of the earth. So you see, this is why it's important to know these things, man. Okay? Because we're not like any other person or any other people. All right? We're separate. And in doing so, we were given certain things to do and to uphold to show our holiness. Okay? And participating in this type of behavior is one that we are not supposed to do. All right. As it tells us in Jeremiah, the 10th chapter, learn not the ways of the heathen. All right. This is a customs to the heathens. All right. From all the way back to the Babylonians to now in the modern day revised versions of the Romans. All right. The Edomites. Okay. They all handle and deal with animals and beasts and things of that magnitude. That's why the Lord gave us these rules to not deal with them. Okay? Because why? They into some weird ass shit, man. And they allow it in their kingdom. All right? That's why she can get 3 years of probation and, a slap on the wrist and nothing else. Okay? Imagine if the fear was actually put into the land that if you sleep with a goddamn animal, you're going to be killed in the animal. All right? This is Jeremiah chapter 10. And let's start at the top. Verse 1. It reads, hear ye the word which Yahweh speaketh unto you, O house of Israel. All right? Meaning what? The Israelites. Thus saith Yahweh. And you can't say that the law is done away with because you want to feel, privileged to go out and sleep with an animal. Do it and see what happens, okay? We coming into the time that the Lord is getting ready to make his presence known, which he already doing, but judgment is getting ready to go out on a large scale. It says, verse 2, thus saith Yahweh, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them. See? So these are things that we are told not to do, which is what? Learn the ways of the heathens, man. All right? This type of activity is a heathen activity, man. All right? That's why they don't give you no strict sentence, okay? That's why more than likely they're not going to put the dog down, all right? That's why this is why this lady that was 26-year-old Edomite can go look up material online to get this type of behavior. All right, all under the cuspice of 18 and over. Man, this shit goes back to their ways in the Greco-Roman Empire, man. All right. And like I said earlier, man, you think these damn Edomites that have dogs that sleep with them in their bed and live in their house and let them lick them in their face ain't doing some other type of freaky shit like this? Come on, man. You kidding yourself, man. A dog's supposed to stay outside, man. You got a dog in the house. You treat it like a damn human being. What else is you doing with the dog? All right? Letting the dog lick you in the face. Man, all right? This is some questionable behavior, man. All right? I remember I talked to a damn Edomite way back in the day before I knew about the truth, and she had 2 damn dogs sleeping in the house with her that can come and go out and in as she want. I was like, damn, is this normal behavior? Because these was like 2 big ass Rottweiler dogs, man. Slept in the bed with her, you know, and then they'd go outside. So they was coming outside, inside, tracking in all type of fucking fleas and things of that magnitude. But she was like, they got a flea collar on and this and that. I was like, man, this shit is too much, man. All right. So the point of the fact is, man, you don't know what these damn Edomites and other heathens are capable of doing, because why? They have no real repercussion, man. All right. This is a wicked society. This is a wicked kingdom. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. All right. They promote this type of shit. All right. You can go online, look it up. You can go to these damn adult stores and buy videos and tapes and DVDs and so on and so forth. All right. This type of behavior is promoted here in Babylon the Great. All right. The land of the free. You free to be able and to do whatever the hell you want, man. All right. Or going against the word. So let's go to the actual the commandment in Leviticus. What is it? The sublining reads law on immoral relations. Let's go down to the one that we're talking about actually and read it. It's Leviticus 18:22. It says, thou shalt not lie with mankind as with womankind. It is an abomination. Right. So here's the one. 23. Neither shall thou lie with any beast. A dog is a beast, to defile thyself therewith. Neither shall any woman stand before a beast to lie down thereto. Why? It is confusion. This is why those spirits have to be put out of the earth, man, because it is confusion. All right. But here it is. You're allowing those spirits to continue to stay on the earth to what? Bring more confusion. Okay. Because why? Their son, had they not had the police intervene with them, is probably going to come up or be raised up thinking that this type of behavior is acceptable. All right. Which is in the same way as before we came into this truth, being raised up under this wicked rulership, we thought that everything was okay. Eating all type of abominable foods, celebrating holidays, you know, it's just in the eyes of Yahweh as this, okay? Not to the certain extent that it's what's the word? A deathable sentence, if that's a word. But nevertheless, it is sin. Okay. Now this sin requires the death or the life of the individuals that's involved, as we're going to read it in a couple of chapters over. Okay. But the fact that you lay down with an animal brings confusion. All right. So let's hear how you put that confusion out of the earth. This is Leviticus 20 in verse 15. It reads, and if a man lie or sleep with a beast, he shall surely be put to death. All right. And those lie and sleep is sexual relationships. If a man goes into an animal as he does with a woman, he shall surely be put to death. It says, and ye shall slay the beast. So the beast, in this case the dog, would have to be put to death too. All because why? He has been brought to confusion. He has left his natural state and went and entered into another unnatural state, which is interbreeding two different species. See? But this damn Edomite promotes that shit here, because a while back there was speculation that they had tried to interbreed intersect or interject two different species, although they said it was one and the same, which was a chimpanzee and a woman. They tried to have offspring, and it said that it didn't come through. All right, so in Esau, Edom, America's earliest days, in its inception, in its beginning, they was able to do these type of acts, man. Trying to intercross species, man with chimpanzee, because they say they got similar DNA. All right, this shit is going off, man. But then they say they are God-fearing people. Wow. Verse 16. And if a woman approach unto any beast and lie down, have sexual relationships thereto, let the beast penetrate her. That's what this woman did. Just think, how did she get the damn dog to even do this? This is crazy, man. All right, this was 2024. All right, up into 2025. Okay, it says, thou shalt kill the woman. See, this is the judgment, and these are going to be the judgment once we resume rulership and take rulership over this earth and take this man out of rulership. The judgments will be implemented. All right. If you are brought up on sleeping with a beast, you will be killed, and the beast will be as well. Because why? It brings in confusion. You see, it's an abomination. It says, in the beast, they shall surely, not maybe, they shall surely be put to death. Their blood shall be upon them. See? So here it is, this dog didn't do anything, you know, if it hadn't been provoked to, but since it did it, it has to be put down, okay? And the woman has to be put down, all right? And if the man partaked in it, he has to be put down, okay? See the immorals, the immorality here in America, Babylon the Great. This is why this place has to be judged. Let's get that. Revelation. This is Revelation 18 in verse 5. It reads, for her sins. Who? This place, Babylon the Great, the United States of America. For her sins, we read what sins are. For her sins have reached unto heaven. So Yahweh seeing all this, man, in this wicked place, all right? And he's getting ready to judge this whore. It says, and the Most High have remembered her iniquities. See? So this is why this place will be judged with thermonuclear fire in the way of the ICBMs, the intercontinental ballistic missiles, along with the laser beams from the chariots, the so-called UFOs. All right? This place is primed for judgment, all right? Because it's given into the hands of the wicked. All right, these damn Edomites that allow this type of shit to, you know, take place. All right, because why? They can monetize it off of what? Allowing videos and material to be circulated and have a certain section where people can pay to see this type of shit, man. All right. See, here it's all about the dollar under this wicked rulership, which is why they're going to implement the mark of the beast, man. All right, the microchip. Okay? So they can keep that gravy train running, man. But see, they're going to be sadly mistaken when Yahweh shows up and put an end to all this shit. All right? So it says, for her sins has reached unto heaven, and the Most High, Yahweh, have remembered her iniquities. All right? And that's why the people here is going to be destroyed along with this place. All right? Those that are not of the elect. All right? The 2/3 of our people, along with the rest of the heathens, they got to go too. They're going to be fuel for the fire, as it says. Okay? So this is going to conclude the lesson on these Edomites and their immorality. You know, and we're going to finish up and close out with 1 Peter 5 and 8. This is the book of 1 Peter chapter 5 and verse 8. It reads, be sober. See? You can't be sober if you don't have the law. As Paul said, if it had not been for the law, I had not known how does it go? If it had not been for the law, I had not known what right or wrong was, roughly paraphrasing. All right? So without the law, you wouldn't know that this type of behavior is immoral. All right? You would think it's natural. All right? Like that little damn Edomite child. He would have probably thought that was natural behavior. Okay? See if I can get that. Because the law is it still lives and it still will be in effect. Give me 1 second. This is the book of Romans, chapter 7, in verse 7. It says, "What shall we say then? Is the law sin? The Most High forbid. Nay, I had not known sin but by the law." See? So we wouldn't know what sin was if it wasn't for the law. All right? So how can you say that the law is sin? Let's get this in a different translation. It says, "For I had not known lust, except the law had said, thou shalt not covet." See? So the law is quintessential in walking and attempting to walk in a perfect light as Yahushua did. You have to know the law. All right? This is the NLT. It says, "Well then, am I suggesting that the law of the Most High is sinful? Of course not. In fact, it was the law that showed me my sin. I would never have known that coveting is wrong if the law had not said, you must not covet." Right. It also says, where there is no law, there is no sin. Okay? So you have to know the law in order to what? No sin. All right? See, at times past, the Lord winked on our sin, as it says in the book of Acts. But now he requires of us our repentance. Okay? So if you don't know the law, you don't know what sin is, you're going to continue to sin in your acts, your deeds. All right? So it's quintessential that you know what the law is. All right? Let's see if there's another version. What shall we say then? Is the law sin? Far be the thought. This is the DBY. What shall we say then? Is the law sin? No, man. The law shows you what the sin is. Far be the thought. But I had not known sin unless by law, for I had not had conscience also of lust unless the law had said, thou shalt not lust. See? So just think, before we woke up to this truth, we didn't know half the shit we were doing was sin, committing sin. All right, but once we read the law and we went into the word of the Lord, we know that we were sinning, man. And if you righteous, you're going to repent from that sin and not do it anymore. All right, and keep and try to do it to the best of your ability to not sin. All right, certain things we can't help. All right, but certain things we can, and we must strive for the perfection through who? Yahushua. As it says, and what is that? Philippians 4:13, I can do all things through Yahushua who strengthens me. All right, and you can continue to fight the good fight until the end, until we're changed. Lord willing, we get beamed up on the first go around. You know, we can continue to fight if we of the elect. All right, why? Because Yahushua. Okay, this is the only reason why we in the game and have a shot at it, because of Yahushua, his sacrifice. All right. So, hey, if it wasn't for the law, we wouldn't have known what sin was. Okay, we would be trapped and lost in our iniquities, man. That's why you got to count yourself, blessed to have had an opportunity to fight for the truth, to fight to be of the elect. All right, because if not, hey, it says, if you lie down with beast kind, you're going to be killed. All all right? And guess what? Ultimately, if you lie down with the beast, this system, by taking his chip, you're going to be killed as well, man. In the what? In the lake of fire here in Babylon the Great, America. That's what Revelation 18 is really going into, okay? The lake of fire, the missiles, all right? And if you lie with that beast, which is the system, and this man, Esau, Edom, his grid, and take his semen, the seed, the microchip, you're going to be what? Held accountable. Because why? The beast is going to be slayed, and you as well, all right? Man or woman, all right? Or child, if you take that damn microchip, that's it. Or newborn, infant, all right? Mankind. All falls under mankind. Man, woman, child, newborn, however you want to word it. It all falls under mankind. All right? You take that chip, you're going to be confused. You have caused confusion. All right? You no longer can serve the Most High with a sound mind. All right? Your mind has now been altered by the way of what? The mark of the beast. Okay? So let's finish up and close out with 1 Peter 5 and 8. This is 1 Peter chapter 5 and 8. It reads, be sober. See, how are you going to be sober if you don't have the laws to know exactly what you should and what you shouldn't do? Be vigilant. You got to continue to watch, man. You can't stop reading the word, man, in its entirety and understanding, because this is what's going to get us through into the end. Abaratazah, Father will, we of that number. It says, why? Because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion. That lion is a beast. A lion is a beast. As a roaring lion walketh about. See, he's looking who can I lay down with. This damn beast is looking who can he lay down with. It says, as a roaring lion walketh about, seeking whom he may devour. Right, he's going to devour you. He want to lay down with you. He want to put his device, his microchip inside of you. All right, he ain't running, he walking. Because why? You're going to come up to him and you're going to ask him, can I have you inside of me so I can eat, so I can have somewhere to sleep, so I can feed my children, so I can have a resemblance of life before all hell broke loose. See? You're going to come running to him, asking for his device, his seed, his semen. All right? Because that's what it is. Once you take that microchip, you have allowed him to lay within you. All right? The beast, the mark of the beast. Okay? Which is this system that's being put into place as we speak. All right? So this is going to conclude the lesson today. And with that being said, pray someone was edified through this lesson. And until the next time, if it be the Lord's will, stay strong, stay in the faith. We almost home. Shalom. Peace.